I have been, buddy.
Thank you for your service. Welcome to Washington.
Thank you.
More than 200 veterans.
I was in Vietnam from August of '68 to August of '69.
Each with their own story, their own scars.
Then I knew there was a reason why we're there.
Although each person's battle wounds look a little different, there's still a familiar heartache, a familiar history.
It was like a bunch of brothers getting back together. We had this one thing in common, that one common thread throughout.
A bond that began for many nearly 5 decades ago.
Total, I spent 27 years, 5 months, and 4 days in the Army.
A sacrifice for our freedom.
And I love it. I love this country.
So bus captains, come on up, get the mail call bags, and you guys sit back and relax.
You were my little brother, and I prayed for you would get home safely.
Thank you for all your sacrifices you have made for our freedom.
And on this day, we honor them for their bravery, their commitment, and their decision
I do over again.
to answer the call of duty.
And to protect our country and that flag up there for freedom.
We're here at the Appleton International Airport where these veterans are about to experience the trip of a lifetime. We hope you'll stay with us as we take you through this emotional and special day in Washington, D.C. Here's a look at some of the things we'll be sharing with you.
Because when I came back from Vietnam, we were not honored. And now we are. It's just awesome.
A welcome so many veterans never received, with flags, signs, and a lot of love for these veterans as they made their way around Washington, D.C. Plus, an emotional stop, the Vietnam Veterans Memorial, where tears were shed
A lot of my buddies are right here on the wall.
and names were remembered.
Come on up, get the mail call bags, and you guys sit back and relax.
And a special surprise. As the veterans boarded the plane to head home, many had no clue what they would receive.
Thank you so much for your service. So proud to know you. People like you and fellow veterans has made a world of a great place to live.
All this coming up in the next 30 minutes of this special tribute. Brave men and women who risked their lives to save others.
Welcome home.
A day many will hold in their hearts forever began before sunrise when veterans arrived at the airport.
Big smile, here we go.
I didn't know what to expect, and then we're coming down here, and everybody is so outgoing and so personable, and it's an adventure is what it is, I guess.
Tom Reinke lives in Fond du Lac. He served in the Air Force from 1969 to 1973, and he's been waiting for this day ever since he got the call a few months ago.
I've talked to different people who've gone, and they've all just enjoyed it immensely.
Like Reinke, Dennis Peters also heard great things about the trip.
I kind of getting emotional after starting to talk about this.
This mission of the Old Glory Honor Flight was an exceptionally special one. They were taking 2 planes of veterans to Washington.
All right, roll 30.
And when the time came to start boarding the first plane, it was all becoming real. For some, that plane would be bringing them on a trip back into the past. For others, it would finally allow them to be in the present. Once every veteran and their guardian were in their seats, it was wheels up. Next stop, the nation's capital. And there was no shortage of love and support once they touched down at Reagan National Airport,
I have been, buddy.
with Paul Hutter the first off the plane.
Thank you for your service. Welcome to
Thank you.
Washington.
Hitting me right in my heart. It's just awesome.
He served in the U.S. Army from 1966 to 1992.
Thank you for your service.
Some people planned to be there to welcome the veterans, while others were just waiting for their flights, given the well-timed opportunity to thank their heroes.
My heart just pounded. I had tears in my eyes walking out of the airplane, going to the bus.
Something many veterans say they never received when they returned home from war.
Makes me feel like I did something for my country. It's wonderful. No, people can't imagine the feelings that we have.
And the welcome didn't stop when the veterans boarded the buses that would tour them through DC for the day. Buses escorted by the United States Police, stopping traffic all day, even during rush hour, to make sure these hundreds of vets made it to every stop on the itinerary. The first stop, the World War II Memorial, where a group of students from a local elementary school were lined up waiting for the veterans to get off the bus.
It's like really special that we get to do this today.
Bella is a 5th grader at Ashland Elementary School, and although she's only been alive for a decade, she knows how important it is to say thank you.
I get to do this and I get to make them smile. That's makes me happy.
And they most certainly made them smile.
The little kids, oh, they're so sweet. One came up and gave me a beautiful picture. I gave her a hug and she said thank you, and it just broke my heart.
Diane MacDonald with Old Glory Honor Flight tells us people in Washington have not forgotten these veterans and all they've done.
They truly believe that everyone deserves that welcome.
A belief that was shown everywhere the veterans went.
These kids, random kids coming up to the vets and saying thanks, handing them a card, giving them a handshake. It's truly warming, and it's really what's great about our country.
And a simple 2 words, thank you, is enough to remind all these vets what they did was not in vain.
Just amazing, all these young kids. For them to come out and give us thanks and stuff, it's tremendous. I never thought that would be like that. It's amazing. Love it, just love it.
You're watching A Hero's Journey. We hope you'll stay with us as we share this special day. Still ahead.
I brought the pictures and I said, now, well, John, you've seen your memorial.
For a lot of the veterans on our flight, this was a place they knew would be emotional, the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. A lot of the veterans traced the names of lost loved ones on the wall.
What did I caught? 6 or 7 names that I traced off of this panel right here, and they're all right in this section right here, because in March 27th of '69, we got ambushed, and I lost them all.
Buzz Vermillion is from St. Peter, Wisconsin. He served in the U.S. Army. From August 1968 to August 1969, he was in Vietnam.
A lot of my buddies are right here on the wall. It's good to be here. It's just good to be here.
And it's those names that bring back memories, emotions.
At least they're together on the wall. It's tough.
You know, what are the emotions that you feel when you're looking at them?
Why not me? Why those guys? You know, I was wounded. They tried, but I was fortunate. And I've had a tremendously lucky life ever since then. So I've got 50 years that these guys never had. I'm very blessed.
5 decades later, he still struggles with that day.
I was hesitant to even come because I knew this was going to happen. It's tough. Even 50 years later, it's still tough. You know, but that's the way it is. But, oh well.
But not everyone was able to see what Vermillion saw. John Brennan is from De Pere. He also served in Vietnam, but he refused to let himself get too close to the wall.
I didn't get very close because I know some names on it. I didn't want to go through that again. It's pretty hard to live with people and then see their name on a stone and not get emotional. Anybody that says they can do that, I think that they should go to a doctor and have checked out for a heart, because it's just, to me, it's impossible.
He had another mission in mind, though, a different place he did want to get close to.
I just wanted to see the World War II Memorial.
It may seem odd for a Vietnam veteran to want to see a World War II memorial, but
I brought the pictures and I said, now, Uncle John, you've seen your memorial.
for Brennan, seeing this memorial is a silent reminder of his uncle answering the call to serve.
We're called the greatest generation. If it hadn't been for them, we would be Sprechen Sie Deutsch now.
Years later, Brennan answered that same call, doing 2 tours in Vietnam.
I should have never made 30, but I did somehow. And now somehow I made 80. I have no idea why. Maybe someday the guy upstairs will tell me.
Regardless of what memorial the veterans were at, there was no shame in shedding tears as they stood together from however far they felt comfortable, reflecting on the events they were a part of so many years ago.
We're brothers, and it's special. We may not have known each other, but we knew what we did.
Those emotional moments are made possible through the efforts of others. Coming up, we'll share what goes into bringing these veterans to Washington and what it means to them.
You're watching A Hero's Journey, an unforgettable trip to our nation's capital with the Old Glory Honor Flight.
It's the generosity of our community that sends these veterans to Washington.
Without the funds, without the support, we couldn't do what we do.
Doug Buboltz has played a big part in making it all happen.
My father went on the Old Glory Honor Flight 6 years ago, almost to the day. And then when he came back, our family thought it'd be a good idea to try and raise money to send other veterans.
That's when his family started a brat fry.
It's been 5 years now. And we thought, well, if we raise $1,000, we send 2 veterans, right? It's about $500 on average, to send a veteran. So we thought we'd be doing well.
But why not raise the goal even higher?
Well, that first year we did over $10,000 at a brat fry. Last year we did over $23,000 in a brat fry. So within 5 years we've raised close to $90,000 in a brat fry.
This marks Buboltz's second trip to Washington with the Old Glory Honor Flight as a guardian for a veteran.
We spend a day with them and you get to know about them, their families. They get to know about us and our families, and it's a great moving experience. And you treat them like a family member when you're with them as a guardian. It's truly a remarkable experience.
His message?
The tagline is, it's never too late to say thank you for the Old Glory Honor Flight, and that's very true. So I would just tell everybody that same thing.
Some veterans tell us they never imagined they would be here in Washington, D.C., seeing all the memorials and getting the thanks so many people have shown them. Some knew what the emotions would be like here, while others didn't really know what to expect.
Everybody was a buddy to start out with when we got on the bus in the beginning, or on the first plane.
We had a great cap off to a year with taking these 2 flights together with all these veterans. They just had an amazing time.
For the first time, Old Glory Honor Flight took 2 flights of veterans.
It was really, in essence, to get as many veterans out to DC yet this year, because sadly when we start up again in the spring, many will not have made it through the winter.
A historic day.
They come to us in all different types of states, so to speak. So some of them are pretty reserved, some of them are very emotional, some of them are just looking to spend a nice day out, to see the memorials. So they're all a little bit different. But today there were a lot of very strong emotions, and I feel like as a group and as the other vets are with them, that really helps them heal, helps them process some of the stuff that they've been thinking about for 50 years.
To see all this beautiful stuff here in Washington, D.C. There's no words for it. It is very much special. And especially if you love your country like I do.
And experienced veterans had a difficult time describing in just one word.
I can't, because it's breathtaking.
Emotional. I don't know any other word. It's just very emotional. You think you're tough and you think you can handle everything, and you come to a place like this and you turn into a mush You know, you can't handle it.
Never thought I'd get here, but here I am.
After the break, the veterans returned from their trip, but not before one special surprise.
So bus captains, come on up, get the mail call bags, and you guys sit back and relax.
After a long and emotional day for these veterans, it was time to head back to Reagan National Airport. Time to return home. But before they landed, there was a special surprise.
So bus captains, come on up, get the mail call bags, and you guys sit back and relax.
Letters from their loved ones.
Oh man, there's a whole letter. We can't go through all of this.
Dear Bob, we just wanted to send you a note of thanks for what you and all the others have done to provide the many, many freedoms we enjoy every day here in America.
Dear little brother, I can remember so well when you said you were joining the Army. That was okay, but when you told me you were going to Vietnam, I really got worried.
One letter after the next, filled with respect, filled with love, and filled with words that mean more to these veterans than you can imagine.
Oh my gosh. Hey, Grandpa. I love you. I never truly understood freedom until I heard about your amazing stories.
You and Dad did what you had to do when you had to do it. I was fortunate never to have experienced what you all had to do. But I learned enough to be very grateful for what you and Dad did and what others are doing today.
This is overwhelming. This is totally amazing. I did not expect any of this, you know. So, and it's especially touching when it comes from my children and my grandchildren. It is unbelievable.
And before they knew it, it was touchdown in Appleton. One final welcome home.
Welcome home, sir. Thank you. Welcome home, yes, sir.
Crowds of people lined up.
Well, it's time to give these guys the homecoming that they should have had many years ago.
Cheering for the brave men and women.
I'm here to support my husband and his brother, both veterans.
The veterans were greeted by their family, friends, and strangers who understand the sacrifices they've made.
I want to show respect for the veterans, especially because they didn't get the respect when they came off the planes as teenagers from Vietnam.
And as the cheers faded away, the veterans were left with memories of a trip that will forever linger on.